Hello, my educator family. Let me welcome you to another feature as we do our Strategy Sunday. It is joyous June, and yes, we have a spillover of suggestions from the month of June, which we will take through to the end of, from the month of May, which we will take through to the end of June. I trust that last week's discourse was very engaging. It was something that you would have been able to utilize as you went through the school week. I met an educator who said, Miss, I enjoyed the video so much and I actually practiced some of what you suggested. So I'm so happy that the viewers are enjoying the feature and they're enjoying the videos. I'd like to get your comments though in the comment section as you watch. Remember to like, subscribe, and share as well. You may never know how beneficial it could be to someone who is struggling. So one of the topics that were asked for us to discuss, to go through for the month, would have been mental health. And colleagues, we have seen the impact that it has taken on teachers, on other professionals, especially because we went through the 2 years of the pandemic and we cannot act as if it has not done something to us as educators in the classroom and more so our students. So this week's feature will be looking at how can we help students within our classrooms, the teaching learning environment, how can we minimize as best as possible mental health, and what if it is that we are seeing students displaying signs of it? What can we do as educators? I do know that for some of us, we may not have been trained in special education, and so we struggle to deal with the students when they come to us with these special needs. But this video, I promise it will be short. It will be something that you'll be able to pull from as you deal with the students. And educators, I cannot go without emphasizing the need for you to maintain your mental health as well. So let's jump right in. As usual, I'll be doing the video while looking at my PowerPoint presentation, and I trust that that will not disrupt you in any way and you will be able to gain the information just the same. So let's head right over. When we look at mental health as it relates to students, there is so much that we can do as educators. And when I get to the part where I'm speaking directly to educators as to how you can minimize the burden on yourself, you will realize that a lot of what we do in the classroom, they are repetitive and sometimes they don't bring about the results that we really need to. And that is why we are burnt out and we feel like we're so stressed and we just can't go any further. But this is what we'll be able to focus on this week, so I trust that it will be able to help you as best as possible. When you're in the classroom and you want to minimize students' mental health or the mental health issues that they come to you with, one of the things that you can do is to allow for flexible time in completing assignment. I do know in previous videos I would have said to you, set your deadline, set your target. And of course, as an educator, when you set your deadline and you set your target, it should not be that it is after you give the students the project last week, you're coming to them this week to say, oh, it is due tomorrow. Your time must be realistic. And colleagues, we're all humans. We are humans, the students are humans. There will be mishaps, there will be genuine situations. So if the students come to you to say, Miss, this is what has happened, or Sir, this is what has happened, you must be able to allow them an extension, not overburden yourselves, but at least to help the student to be able to meet the target, because our aim is to educate them and to teach them valuable lessons as well. So of course there must be consequences if they don't turn in after that extension, but as best as possible, let us see how we can allot them flexible time in completing assignments. Another thing that we can do is to encourage accountability and follow through. If they're given an assignment, ensure that each time that you go to class, you are saying to them, remember your assignment is due next week at this time, or so on, right? But in no way should you be able to be promoting stress and discomfort on the students. So you want to do it in a timely manner. The next thing is that you want to provide choices for assignments and help them feel like they have control over their environment. So maybe for larger classes, or depending on the grade that you teach, if you are going to give an assignment, there could be choices. Either way, the rubric is still the same, and either way, the content that you want or the concept that you want them to learn, it is there. And we will see how much we'll cater to their creativity, because sometimes we ask the students, I need a poem. But the student believe that, what about a dub poet? What about a song? So we can allow for them flexibility, choices when they do their assignment. Ensure that they write down the instructions correctly, especially at the lower level of early childhood, primary. We want to ensure that the students write it down accurately. In the high school system, I always say to educators, when you write an assignment on the board, check off the books to ensure that it is there. And if you give them it on a piece of paper, ensure that that sheet of paper is stapled in their books. Yes, so that they don't lose that. They don't come to you and say, oh, miss, I lost it. Help them to have accountability. The next thing that you want to ensure is that when the students get to class, their daily schedules, so the brain is clear on what is it that you are going to be doing with them, so they are not confused and the brain is not mixed up. I've spoken about brain-based learning in other videos, and that is extremely important, because if we want the success out of the students, we have to channel the brain. We have to help them to align the assignment, to align the content, to align the concept, so that when you require it, it is able to come out just as garbage in, garbage out. And so we have to ensure that we have our objectives and they know what the objectives are each day that you go to class. That will help them a lot to minimize the stress on them. Another thing is that we want to encourage involvement in extracurricular activities. Sometimes the students just come to school, pick up their bags and head back home. They hardly want to go to clubs. They hardly want to participate in anything. But let us encourage them. That is a time when we will be able to allow them to unwind. Know that it is coming up to exam. Some schools may have started exam. There could have been a less stress day, a jeans day, where they have something fun doing apart from just teaching and learning, so that they're able to relax the neurons. They're able to socialize outside of being in an enclosed area, and they're able to gain from it by that interaction. Trust me, sometimes it really helps the students. And then finally, you want to ensure, well, not finally, but you want to ensure that you're modeling calmness and self-control. Educators, do not allow the students to see you lose your temper. Do not allow them to see that they're getting underneath your skin. You have to take a stand, and you have to ensure that they know that you are in charge of the classroom. So when the classroom gets noisy, don't walk away. Don't say you're not going to calm them down. That is your rule. You're going to stand in it, and you're going to let them know that I am in control. Don't say you're not going to go to the students, you're not going to go to a class because the class is always untidy or the students are not always prepared. No, that is the time you need to go and teach them the soft skills that they need. Teach them responsibility, teach them accountability. When they realize that the least thing will frustrate you or get you upset and you just go off tangent, that's what they want, and they benefit from it in the sense that they benefit negatively because they're saying, oh, teacher is not going to teach today, so we can have time to do what we want to do. That is the time when you want to let them know that, listen, I am in charge, class is keeping, this is what you need to do, this is what we're going to get done. Right? And that is been done to help them. It is helping them along the way. You also want to reduce some classroom pressures. So sometimes you go to class, you may want to have a 10 minutes after you have settled them, a 10 minutes where they just talk about things that are affecting them, things that are happening to them. How is the class going? How is the assignment going? How are you doing as their teacher? And what can you do to improve on how you teach them and how you relate to them? That is really good for them. You also want to break tasks into smaller parts. So they may have a project that you want them to complete. How about giving them the project in stages? So this month they're to complete this section, or this week they're to complete this section. The next 2 weeks there's something else for them to do, and then at the end of it they just put it together and they have their project ready, so it reduces the stress on them. You want to reassure students where they have maybe missed school or where they may have had some challenges. Reassure them, affirm them that they're able to catch up, and provide the opportunity and the avenue by which they can catch up as well. You want to provide step-by-step instructions that are realistic and that which the students can follow when they're on their own. Another thing that we really need to do, because COVID has impacted our students greatly, and sometimes they pretend as if it has not, but we know that mentally they are not stable, and we can do a little bit more to help them. You want to help them to use positive statements about their performance, encourage them positively, and help them to set realistic goals that they can reach. The final thing as it relates to students, never dismiss student feelings. When they come to your colleagues and they're talking to you, it is because they want to share it with you. It is because they want you to give them a suggestion. It is because they want you to do something about it. So do not dismiss them by saying, well, you'll get over it. It's a part of life. Life goes on. You can move on. No, they want to have a heart-to-heart conversation with you. And so you want to ensure that you provide the opportunity right then and there to deal with it, and also to do your follow-ups. Whether you're going to refer them to the guidance counselor, you're going to call their parents, or whatever way you can help them, ensure, colleagues, that that is done, because our students are suffering. When you listen to them, when you see how they act out, you know that they are greatly impacted, and sometimes when they come to us, it is because they want us to help them. So sometimes we just have to slow it down a little bit and assist them. I trust that these tips that I went through will be beneficial to you as you maneuver the end of the school year, and as you look forward to the new school year. These are things that you can plug in to your daily lesson plans, or your lesson plans in general, or your classrooms, as you deal with the students, to help them to maintain their mental health and also to improve on it. Now, as I said earlier, we'll be looking at how is it that we can maintain the mental health of our teachers. How can we prevent all of this that is happening? We have our professional lives, we have our family lives. Some of us are active at church, within the community. How is it we can maintain our mental health? How is it that we can talk about it? And colleagues, I'm going to say this. This is something that for a while I've been saying to us as educators. We do not need to be burnt out. One of the reasons for us burning out is because of professional pride. Yes, professional pride. We know we're not able to do something. We're not capable to do something. For example, we may not be a technologically savvy educator, but there's a colleague who is good with the technology. But you refuse to ask the colleague for help because you're afraid that the colleague is going to say, I can't help, or the colleague is going to tell somebody else that, oh, I help. So what? You're in a learning environment, colleagues, and it will look bad on that educator if you would have asked for help and they refuse to, or they go about talking about it. All right, so you want to ensure that you do not commit professional pride. You want to ensure that if you're not able to do something good, ask for help. Another thing, colleagues, collaboration is the key to help us maintain our mental health. What do I mean by collaboration? You must know a teacher at another school. There are so many groups that teachers are a part of. There's a colleague at school. You may teach a grade 4 class with another colleague. Why not do some common lesson planning? Why not dedicate some time to sit down with another colleague and say, all right, you are doing the science lesson plan this week. Next week, I will do the lesson plan. You are in the high school system. There are different subject groups that I am very well aware of. So you have home economics subject groups, cluster groups, math groups, cluster groups, information technology. Name the subject, it is out there. And we have lead teachers, thanks to Jamaica Teaching Council, for having lead teachers out there that you can relate to, that you can ask for help and support colleagues. Ask a colleague. There's a topic that you are not clear on, bring in a resource personnel. There's another colleague at school that is good at this concept. Bring them in and ask them to teach your class. You may even want to go back to their class to assist them with something that you're good at. Lesson plans. I collaborate with so many teachers across Jamaica. I send lesson plans and they email back and forth that you can use. All you need to do is to pull up the lesson plans, match it to your context, to your students, and use it. Match it to what you're comfortable with and use it. There's too much out there, colleagues, for us to be burning ourselves out, feeling as if we're Superman and Superwoman. We can do it all on our own. We don't need any help. Another thing, every topic, every subject, there's a lesson plan somewhere on Google, on some teaching website, somewhere that you can research, you can pull up, you can download, you can contextualize and use it. Why are you killing yourself by sitting down and writing all these lesson plans and typing them up? We are in modern day, colleagues, and we have technology at our fingertips. I've said to teachers, ensure that you have a thumb drive with all your lesson plans. The topics are constant in education. There's hardly a change. There may be a change in how the assessment is done, but there has not been any significant changes as it relates to content that is being taught in some subject areas. You have been teaching for 10 years, 15 years. Put your lesson plans on a thumb drive and you go back to them each year, pull them up, recontextualize them, because you have different learners every school year. Recontextualize them and use them in your classroom. It's not that difficult, all right? You also, colleagues, want to ensure that if your school leaders are not providing that open door where you can go in and just share with them how you're feeling and what is it that is happening that you'd like to see corrected, or how they can impact more positively on the students or on the teachers, create it by going to them and sharing. Be frank, but be respectful. Share it in a staff meeting. How is it that you're feeling? Do not be afraid to share with administrators, because at the end of the day, administrators are serving you and they're serving the students, and anything that they can do to help you, it's going to help the students, because if you're mentally unstable, it is going to affect the students. Right? And vice versa. So you can create that environment if it doesn't exist. You want to work smarter and not harder. Research, ask for help, get the help that you need and utilize it. Now, as an educator in the classroom, there is no way, colleagues, you are teaching from grade 7 to 10 in a particular subject, and you have at least 30 students in each class. Where do you get the time to mark individually the assignments, the notebooks, the project? Here's a quick fix that you can utilize. I've done it. It has worked for me, and I'm sure it can work for you too. So this is what I will encourage you to do. Group work, group projects, group assignments, even group tests. Of course, there's going to be a time in which, colleagues, that you are going to want to see how the students are working individually. But wherever it is you can merge 2 students together to work, 4 students, 5 students, it helps them, because what you're doing is building their collaboration skills, their teamwork skills. Because when they go out, what is the sense of them having 10 subjects? And then when they go to the workplace, they're unable to work in a group. Create that from as early as the early childhood center. Create that from that level, the kindergarten level, right up. Teach them how to collaborate and how to work in a team and how to solve differences. It will help them. And it helps you too. How about peer grading? Ask them using the rubric, depending now on the age level and the grade level. Ask them to score their classmates. Give them the rubric. So there's a demonstration that is being done. Ask them to grade them. Of course, as a teacher, you're going to put down a grade too, but then you match your grade against what the students have done. It is easier. It helps you, it helps them. And they're not able to say to their friends, this is what you did not do right, or this is what you could have improved on. Work smarter, not harder. Finally, what I would like to say to you, the curriculum, the syllabus, it is there as a guide that you can utilize in the classroom. When you're doing assessments, colleagues, go to the past papers. Of course, you're going to give them far more than just teaching for tests. But when it comes to setting tests and setting assessments, you should not be overburdening yourself, because it is the past. In Jamaica, wherever we teach, we're teaching for a test. That's how the education system is set up in the world. I trust and I pray that one day we'll get to that point wherein it will change. But for now, we're teaching to test. And all these tests and all these bodies that exist that gives tests, they have past papers. Use them in your class. What it will do to is to prevent the students from becoming anxious. So when they're familiar with the test items and the sentence structure and the vocabulary words that are being used and the jargons that are there, it is easier for them, because by practicing, when they go to the exam, they don't need to be anxious, because they are seeing things that they have seen before. Colleagues, I trust that as you go throughout this week, some of these tips that I have shared with you, which have not been exhausted, I trust that you'll be able to utilize them to benefit you. Your mental health is important. And if your mental health is not important, it is going to affect your physical health. And I'm sure you want to live long, to reap the rewards, to reap the success. You want to be able to get old and go outside and take pictures of your garden and move around and enjoy your retirement. So take care of your health. By taking care of your mental health, you will also take care of the students' mental health, and you can utilize the tips to help you. I would like to hear from you. How was this video? How did it help you? How is it that you are going to use it in the classroom? Remember to like, share, subscribe if you have not yet done so. I am Carla Boswell-Lewis, Director for Strategic Educational Consultancy Services, where my only mission is to empower you educators. Walk good. Have a great week ahead. God bless you.